My name is Duane Moyer, and I'm here to share my story, my journey in life, and what it might mean to you. I grew up in Silicon Valley, out in California. It's really an innovative environment and ideal weather, and it was a great place to grow up and have fun, and had a lot of fun with family and friends, had a close family. But through that whole time growing up, it became more and more apparent that these exciting experiences became less and less meaningful. And as I kind of got to that point at the end of high school, I started to find myself empty and finding that there's got to be more. And I had at that time a beautiful girlfriend, a really beautiful girlfriend, and she went off to be an exchange student in Sweden. And from that, we had this long distance relationship. But during that year where she was there, a lot of different people came into my life that started to point me to more eternal matters, things that pointed to meaning in life. And through that, I ended up just starting to be exposed to reading the Bible. And when she came back from Sweden, basically we just kind of picked up where things left off, and in fact it got even a little hotter, and it was a lot of fun. But really during that time we both were in this time of trying to discover what the meaning of life was, and because life was fun and had all of these things going on that were great, but it just wasn't that meaningful. There was just this hollowness. We ended up being invited to be a part of this Bible study that our friend Joe Howard was putting on. And through that time, he just kept helping us see that there was more to life, and he introduced me to what is actually a relationship with God look like, and where am I in that relationship. And I really came to understand that I was in a bad place, and I could start to see what it meant to have that disconnect. And it was really one day I was at home and reading the Bible for myself. And I was reading John 3, which is the story about Jesus encountering a man named Nicodemus. And from that, Nicodemus asks this question of the meanings of life, and Jesus tells him that he must be born again. And Nicodemus is perplexed, but I understood what it meant. It meant that something had to change on the inside. And so there was this kind of voice from God that became very loud and very clear at that moment, that I needed to make a decision of whether I was going to follow and to reconcile my pain and problem through accepting the gift that God had for me. And that's why I understood that Jesus died for my sins and to fix that problem. And from that, life became really kind of started to explode in terms of meaning. And I had to change the way my wife, or now wife, girlfriend, did our relationship. We had to start over again and stop having sex and other stuff that was not good for either one of us, and so on. And so from that, it began a journey of understanding what it is to have a friendship with God. And over the last 30 years since I've made that decision to follow Jesus and to accept Him, and accept His gift of forgiveness, life has been challenging but really meaningful. And that girlfriend, who I mentioned now is my wife, we've been married 23 years, and we now have 3 teenagers, and life is very full, but very meaningful, because life has been purposeful, because I now have a friendship with God, and I have meaningful relationships in my life, and I have a purpose that I understand that I'm here to honor God and to love those around me. And that's always hard, because I'm hard to love and other people are hard to love when it comes down to it. But I would never change the decision that I made those many years ago that resolved the pain and emptiness of a life without a friendship with God. And so I'm here to publicly profess that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.